Testing. Plus, I don't give a shit if the timing's right because Shepard has to fix it.
Yeah.
It's not your problem or my problem.
Yeah, that's why we have a producer. This is why I tell other people who are planning on running games and stuff all the time, like, if you can find a way to offload the other responsibilities, because a lot of the time the Dungeon Master winds up being, like, the daddy of the group, and they have to do everything. Like, you know, you wind up hosting it at your house, and you have to take care of the food, and you have to worry about the logistics and stuff like that, and it winds up being a much bigger responsibility.
This sounds like the mom and not the daddy. Come on.
It's not my fault you come from a broken home.
Yeah. It could be anybody in this society.
Yeah.
Okay, sure. You can think that. That's fine.
Well, you will, if you consult your Table Talk thread, you will note that I dropped an article in there from foxnews.com about a spider that can give you an erection. Please discuss.
I cannot
wanted to
participate in
find...
this one.
Sure you can.
Well, I'm not very... I don't have a lot of good insight.
No, but yeah, I wanted to... So the problem with that was that it also could kill you.
Yeah, I mean, for any listeners who aren't on their phones right now, or we'll put the link in the description so you can see this, but the article was something like, I can't remember where this happened. There was a grocery store, and somebody found a spider in, like, a box of bananas or something, and then they found out that it was this lethally... It was like a Brazilian wandering spider?
Something like that.
Well, anyway, they look up the spider, and the way the article describes it is like this dude found a spider in a box of bananas, and then they looked it up, and I guess the dude who found it was like he worked at that grocery store, and they found that it was this very venomous spider that could potentially kill you, and also the venom could cause an erection.
Yeah.
And so the headline became, "Spider with erection-inducing bite shuts down supermarket."
Yeah. And also, for more context, this is a Austrian supermarket.
And it's a Brazilian spider.
Yeah, so it's not adding up. But I love the headline for what was happening, and also a lot of good, informative fun about that spider can do that. Now, imagine if that spider had bitten Spider-Man.
Wow.
Or got the same radioactive stuff and then bit Spider-Man. I think that would have been a very interesting porno.
That maybe we'll explore that in our next campaign.
I'm sure it already exists. The porn.
I mean, they must have run out of ideas by now with Spider-Man. I'm not a comic book guy, but anyway, if you guys are out of ideas, here's one for you.
Yeah.
We're on like our fourth Spider-Man actor since I was a kid.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, they've got
Tobey Maguire,
They gotta keep it fresh. They keep getting old.
whoever the other guy is,
Andrew Garfield,
Garfield.
Andrew Garfield,
Who
whoever
sounds...
the other guy is,
Tom Holland.
Tom Holland.
Yeah. And then the other guy.
Is there a new guy?
There's
It's
an
a-
animated one.
Yeah, which has
Okay.
a different... Technically has a different
Voice
guy.
actor.
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't know who does Miles Morales. I'll look it up.
Who's Miles Morales? I
Also
thought
Spider-Man.
it was Peter Parker.
So
Yes.
I guess he's a different
You know what? This
Spider-Man.
is not a rabbit hole I want to go down.
And I know nothing about it, so I just know there's different guys that do different things.
Okay.
There's a whole set of multiverse.
Okay.
Whatever that
Well,
means.
we'll leave that be.
Yeah.
All right, fine.
No.
Fine.
This podcast is many things, but it's not for fucking nerds.
No.
It's only for jocks who play Delta Green and Dungeon Crawl Classics.
Oh,
Yeah.
shoot. Okay.
Okay, so what's next on here?
Bad.
Listen,
bad behavior.
hold on. I want to give the listeners a little bit of context, which is we're not recording at our usual time. We have some gap weeks coming up, so by the time you listen to this, we will have recorded it, I guess, several weeks prior. But it is, it's like nighttime, so it's not our usual crew. We just wanted to get some content out.
Yeah.
It's just important for me to let you know that because we have said before that integrity is one of the 18 pillars of late afternoon gaming.
It's a very sturdy system.
It's extreme. Well, it's actually kind of wobbly because they're not all the same length.
Oh.
Yikes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, are
And
they
some of them are a little crooked.
Are they all the same thickness?
I would say that integrity is a little longer and a little thicker, but it's also towards the corner.
Okay.
So that sort of makes it rock a
Yeah.
little bit.
What
'Cause
would
what's
you
on
say
the
is
other
the
side, yeah.
shortest and thinnest pillar?
I would say fiscal responsibility.
Okay.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can deal with that.
Right.
It's
And
a
the-
pillar, but like a soft
Close
one.
second, flossing.
Ooh. Yeah.
Yeah.
We gotta beef that up.
We felt that it needed to be a pillar.
Mm-hmm.
We know that it's supposed to be a pillar.
But we're not very good
Right.
at like keeping it.
But
as
we're
a
not. We
pillar.
don't really do it.
Yeah. But you tell your dentist you do?
Of course. Obviously.
I've stopped doing that.
Okay. You just all out
Yeah.
say, yeah,
Says,
I just
do you
don't
floss? And I just look at him and I'm like, no. I come here and you clean my teeth.
Why do you think I'm here?
Right. Yeah. If I flossed, I wouldn't even come here.
do it. Ah, that's good.
All right. Next topic. What do we got?
Bad behavior.
Uh,
Barbieheimer. Oh shit. Barbenheimer. Oppen Barbie. That's the right
yes.
one. Oppen Barbie.
Yeah.
So I had been complaining, and I'm not the only one, that, like, in a post-COVID world, if you go to the movies, like, prepare to have your evening ruined, because there are people out there that just can't behave properly in society anymore. I think there are a lot of teenagers that should have been going to the movies during their formative years and know that they're not supposed to be on their fucking phones and they need to be quiet. But they don't know that because instead of growing up going to the movie theater, they grew up watching Netflix.
At home, where they can do whatever the fuck they want.
Right, where they could behave like animals, and now they do it at the movie theater too. And not only do they behave badly, but they feel no shame. And it has ruined the movie-going experience for me.
So I've been very spoiled that there's this tiny little movie theater near where I'm at, and it's mostly old people who go to that theater. So like the biggest interruption is usually like gentle snoring when they take a nap. But then I went home over Christmas and like saw Star Wars, and it was just chaos. Like everyone was just like, talking and on their phone, and I was just like, what is this madness? And it made me really upset. So now I will go to basically one theater, and that's it. If there's anybody under the age of 85 other than me, I kick him out. Like, you're not welcome.
This article highlighted some pretty incredible acts that I almost don't believe, and then I also do believe them as well. But I have not experienced anything like people being naked in a theater.
No, that one's a new one for me.
Yeah, that's, you know what, but it doesn't have to be. I guess I would rather it go crazy. Mm-hmm. Like, the behavior can be pretty, I guess, mundane and still ruin the movie
Yeah.
and not be, like, memorable or funny.
Yeah.
Like, nobody wants to hear a story when you go to work the next day where you're like, oh, yeah, I went and saw Oppenheimer last night, and this guy, like, scrolled on TikTok the whole time in front of me, and it was really distracting.
Yeah.
That's not a good story.
No.
If the story was like, the guy in front of me stood up, and he was naked, and he just stood there, and none of us could get him to stop, like, that's more interesting.
True.
Yeah.
Well, and then the other one that they talk about is like people like standing up and like shouting and stuff like that. And it's like
Yeah.
there's a very specific like moment when you could do that, and it's only like you can't do that all the time. You can't just like I don't know show up at a random screening of Barbie and be like I'm gonna scream here. No, you wait till you're the only person in the theater with you and your other drunk friends, and then you get to scream as much as you want. Like that's what I did with Battleship, and it was great. But there was like 6 of us there.
Yeah.
So we weren't interrupting anybody else.
One of my... there was one, like, movie-going experience where someone did something like that, and I've never forgotten it, which was... Do you remember Act of Valor? It was the
Yeah, Seal movie.
like the Seal movie where they had actual seals playing the seals.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And you know, not a great movie, but I think I saw it in theaters. And in that last scene where the one seal jumps on the grenade and like saves everyone else on the team. So he jumps on it and it explodes and he dies. And this dude really loudly goes, "What an idiot!" And it was like he didn't understand. But I mean, the reaction in the theater to this guy was fantastic. I mean, it was. Anyway, I'll just never remember. Or I'll never forget. Like, why would you do it? What would possess you to say something like that? Like to react that loudly and that stupidly?
Mm-hmm.
What did everybody do? Did they throw things at him?
No, they just yelled like, "Shut the fuck up." Like, you know, it's kind of an emotional scene.
Yeah.
Because right after that, they cut to like, you know, his flashbacks of like him talking to his son, and you know, anyway, it's just like stupid.
I'm sure there's going to be a big rise or a steady rise in like home theater, just like home kind of AV, kind of nicer movie watching setups.
I mean, I think people are going to shift to like AR and VR.
Yeah, that's.
I think we're going to see people migrate away from the like living room setup where you have a big TV as big as you can get with a sound system and stuff like that, and we're going to see people migrate towards goggles.
Maybe. I guess I'd rather buy the setup, the living room setup, than like several sets of goggles.
Well, I mean, that's I think where we diverge, right?
Yeah.
Is as a stereotypical millennial who refuses to get married or have children.
Yeah.
Like goggles are the way
That
for me.
makes way more sense
Yeah.
than like
you know,
a
because
$10,000
I have like
setup.
the standard, like the guy apartment that you like people make fun of in memes, where it's like a folding chair in a room. That's what I have.
with a weight bench and you know, to do bench press.
That's
A great computer,
Yeah.
at least. Come on.
I do not have a great computer.
Ah, well.
I have an okay. Well, in fact, I'm getting to the point where it's probably time to replace mine, but I won't do it until it just totally shits itself. But yeah, I will be the guy sitting in the folding chair in the middle of the apartment
With your
with
With
really
35
expensive
like-
goggles, yeah.
Yeah.
yes.
I might be able to get on board, but I'd have to actually witness the AR firsthand or the VR. The
Yeah,
next gen
I mean,
stuff.
I don't think I would buy it sight unseen.
Mm-hmm.
I'm also not really that interested in playing games on it. I really want it for the screen.
Yeah.
I don't know. They usually give me headaches, so I think I'll just stick with my TV. I do have a really nice TV, though, so...
Caboose, remind me when we're done recording. I have a VR story to tell you that you will appreciate that I can't say here.
Yeah. Not safe for podcast.
Yeah. It's just too sexy.
Yeah.
It's a shame.
I'm
It would
in.
reveal too much about my sexual past.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's fair.
The listeners will just have to guess.
Yeah. Because, I mean, that's the other thing that, you know, the elephant in the room when we talk about this VR stuff is, I think, you know, when you go on Amazon to buy your Apple Vision Pro, pretty quickly it's going to get to, you know, other customers also purchased, and it's going to be like sex dolls and lube.
Is this where like the AR can like overlay someone's face onto this, someone else's face onto this sex doll?
I mean, I can only hope.
I guess it would be like a sex doll with like a green screen face, and then you.
Yeah. That's what I need. I need to just paint my apartment walls green.
Perfect.
Yeah, in fact, I'm gonna go get some Gatorade. I'll see you guys later. Okay, my next topic that I posted was a friend of mine texted me out of the blue, and he said, "You need to Google IRS nuke plan." So I did, unquestioningly,
Obviously.
and found a bunch of like really old articles on this. So I don't know why he was looking at this, but it's the IRS's plan to continue to collect taxes in the event of a nuclear strike on the United States.
Listen, society needs to continue to go on.
Well, I think their point was maybe society doesn't, but the IRS does have a mission. And even if society no longer exists, the IRS is going to collect its taxes.
Yeah. As the article would say, even annihilation does not bring escape from the IRS.
It was kind of interesting. I mean, and the article does point out that at whatever point this happened, and this is old. This is what, 80s or 90s. Like all
1982.
federal agencies. Yeah. So Soviet Union still in play, but all federal agencies were required to have some contingency plan for what they would do in this circumstance. So the IRS is not alone here. The other ones just probably aren't as funny.
Yeah, it's a little wild. I can see why you'd want to have this, and then at the same time, I not a fan of death tax to begin with, but yeah, it's pretty crazy.
Yeah, I don't want to be taxed on a good day.
Yeah.
I've got to imagine I would be pretty cranky if we just got nuked.
Well, this was the design notes that nuclear war might be so disastrous that in addition to the destruction of millions of people, industrial installations, and population centers, it might even destroy the tax system, which the IRS seems to believe would be the most serious consequence of nuclear war.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, whoever wrote the article is being an asshole, and it's very funny.
Yep. Yeah. 100 million dead and the IRS building.
Yeah.
Well, they gotta go find the next of kin to figure out how much the tax they owed pre-nuclear attack.
Well, but I mean, I imagine it would radically change property values.
Ooh, yeah.
And depending on the nature of the detonation, like, would it disrupt, like, the banking system in such a way that we would lose track of, I don't know, like, debts or the market? I don't know. I'm not a money guy. But,
Yeah. Sounds like a buyer's market to me.
I probably wouldn't file that year, is what I'm saying.
I mean, maybe I'll just pretend to, if I make it, I'll pretend to be somebody else, and then I'll just never have to pay taxes again.
Yeah.
Boom. Go off the grid. Because there won't be a grid. The grid won't exist for me to be on it.
So, speaking of contingency planning, in the event of a nuclear catastrophe, I am trying to harden late afternoon gaming against, events like this. High consequence events, I call them. Looking at getting a compound for us.
There's a lot of goodness to this, because not only would it harden against nuclear attack, but tornadoes, other severe weather.
Yeah, but I like late afternoon gaming needs a Raven Rock, type facility. Some kind of like we can like tunnel beneath a mountain and have enormous blast doors or something.
What about as an alternative, one of us just digs a giant bunker in our backyard?
I don't know that any of us have
That big of a
has a
yard?
backyard that would support that.
Yeah, I mean, my only requirement is no HOA.
That is also a requirement for me. And I don't mean a reasonable HOA or like a pretty cheap HOA or a hands-off HOA, but like none at all.
For the bunker?
For the bunker.
I mean, it's our bunker, so why would we install an HOA?
Well, a lot of people say, well, it's my house. I'm just not really allowed to do anything to it.
Yeah, but it's in the backyard, nobody will know. Ooh,
That's what they say.
You could
That's what
dig
they
down
say.
enough and then have a whole series of tunnels under the neighbors' yards as well. They'll never
Well,
know.
and here's another question. Do you own the mineral rights to your property?
Ooh. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, anyway, something
Yeah.
we should consider.
Yeah.
Finding if
But,
I have
yeah.
minerals.
Looking at getting a compound. looking at, not just podcasting, but organizing into a militia.
Okay. That sounds
Can we
fun.
decorate everything in spalted dolphin gear?
Done.
Yeah.
Good.
Everything would be seafoam green.
Yeah. Is this like kind of an Appalachia location or?
I think so. And
Yeah.
I kind of dig like the militia boogaloo style.
Yeah.
Like that whole kind of... I like that look.
Sure, why not? Yeah, we just lean into it. It's fine.
Yeah. Like the kind of, like I'm obese, but I'm tactical
Yeah.
look. Like I
Like
kind of get
camo?
like an unkempt beard,
Good.
camo pants with a Hawaiian shirt. Plate carriers with maybe some Ninja Turtle Velcro patches, something like that.
yeah.
Maybe like a gun where I don't know any of the weapon safety rules, and I just point the muzzle at people when I'm talking to them.
Some ninja stars.
Ninja stars, yeah, which apparently are illegal a lot of places. I didn't realize that.
Really?
Oh, shoot. Okay.
Yeah.
Why would that be?
Why? Because a lot of people hate freedom.
Oh, that makes sense.
Look it up. Look it up on Wikipedia.
Yeah.
Shall we? In which states are ninja stars illegal? Okay, they are prohibited in California, Indiana, and New York.
No. I'm
Indiana?
not surprised.
The state of freedom? What?
Is Indiana the state of freedom?
Well,
I've never heard that.
yeah. Come on. There's all kinds of stuff you can do in Indiana.
I mean, not
Not
kill ninjas.
not have ninja stars though. So lame.
Yeah, well,
What's the point?
anyway, so if anyone lives in Indiana, better get out. I'll let you know where we throw the compound down, probably in Alaska, where I think you could do anything you want.
Yeah. No, that's fair. Or we could just invade Canada.
Yeah, Canada has a lot of rules.
Yeah, but you're in the middle of the woods. Like, no one's gonna even know.
No, I mean, I don't know. Canada, my opinion of Canada has really fallen in the past few years. Same with Australia, too, by the way, international listeners.
All right, so
well-
I found 40 acres in West Virginia.
Yeah, let's just go there.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, yeah. On top of a mountain, like overlooking a valley.
Is Raven Rock in West Virginia? Is that right?
I have no idea. Google.
Caboose, you know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I think that's Virginia.
Oh, it's in Pennsylvania. It's in southern Pennsylvania. It's like on the border with Maryland.
Oh, gotcha.
Raven Rock Mountain Complex.
Or we could go to Kentucky. No. Do Tennessee so that we can get some bourbon.
I'm in. Or, no, Kentucky so we can get some bourbon.
Oh, okay, fine. Yeah. Sure. I don't know.
Yeah, all right.
Or some. Yeah.
Late afternoon, gaming, compound. If you know, you know. You know.
Be there.
Yeah.
square.
You know.
Yep.
Yeah. So, it's been a long time since we've talked about BTK. And I know a lot of people have been asking me, when are we going to talk about BTK again? I would love to hear you talk about him. And I'm prepared to do that. So,
I'm standing by.
yeah. I just actually read a book about him. Fascinating. Turns out he was a pretty weird dude.
No.
But anyway, this book is fantastic. I'm looking right now so I can give the author due credit. But let's see.
I don't know anything about him until I just Wikipedia it. Ugh.
Okay, the BTK murders. Inside the Bind, Torture, Kill case that terrified America's heartland by Carlton Smith. I'm gonna go ahead and spoil what happens because, you guys have had time to figure out what he was up to. But BTK was not smart and made a fuck ton of mistakes when he was killing his victims. And he had this sort of Zodiac thing going on where he was corresponding and getting his letters in the newspaper, that kind of thing. And then he just stopped. And a lot of people thought he was dead or he'd gone to prison or moved away or something like that. And ultimately, this journalist smoked him out, said some provocative things in the newspaper, and got him to reveal himself. But, like, BTK was so stupid, but the cops had failed to put this stuff together for long enough that he had kind of come to believe he was this, like, Hannibal Lecter character. like he was this evil genius that was toying with them. Anyway, the way they ultimately caught him was they tricked him into thinking that that they couldn't get any, like, digital information that would implicate him off of a floppy disk, and so he was safe to continue corresponding with them by giving them files on a floppy disk. He did, and, you know, he had done it from, like, the computer that was at his church where he was a deacon, and he was logged into his account.
Oh, wow.
When he like, I don't know if it was a Word document or something, but his next letter he tried to do digitally on a floppy disk, and they immediately caught him. And it was funny because initially when they're interviewing him, you know, they arrest him and they're saying stuff like, "So what do you know about BTK?" And he's, you know, almost like winking at them. He's like, "Well, you know, not much, but yeah, I mean, I've read that he's pretty clever."
Yeah.
You know, this kind of stuff, and they're like, no,
dude.
dude, we know it's you. Like, we have this disc that has all your information all over it. And then he was like, oh. And like, it's fantastic. Anyway, what a wild ride. I mean, he's been the official serial killer of Late Afternoon Gaming for a while now.
I didn't
But,
realize that we had one. Wow, okay.
Yeah. And I thought I had picked more of a winner. But it turns out he was pretty weird and a bit of a dipshit.
Maybe we should, you know, consider getting a new serial killer for the podcast.
I mean, are you nominating anyone in particular?
No, let me think about it for a second, and I'll report back.
All right.
I'll
But
come to
great
the-
story. I mean, it was like it read like a movie. So, highly recommend that book. As I said, it is The BTK Murders by Carlton Smith. Very, very interesting. What about you two? What have you been reading? What have you been up to?
I have been reading the DCC rulebook and some different modules and other types of things like that. Yeah.
We will not ask you to spoil the modules.
No. Or the rulebook, but that's my reading.
Well, that sounds pretty thrilling. Mostly sounds boring. There's a book by an author that I read all of her books. It's coming out in 5 days. Sarah McLean, and the character is like, she's not an arsonist. Likes to blow stuff up. But you know, it's the 1800s, so she's just a radical. So I gotta read the other ones, you know, and like get caught up again. So I'm reading the second book in the series where that character's a thief who marries a duke, which is great. It's a wild ride. They go on a carriage chase. It's very exciting. But yeah, so the next one, explosions, and I think evading cops. I'm very excited.
Any relation to John McClane?
I have no idea, but I'm guessing not.
Yeah. Okay.
Maybe. I mean, does John McClane's books have smooching in it?
I didn't know he wrote any books. He's a police officer.
Oh, then no, I don't know.
Okay.
Unsure.
Gotcha. Still interested.
Well, I'll send you all the info.
Yeah.
Caboose, in our diehard fan fiction, we can, you know, make that crossover happen.
Okay.
Oh, Die Hard. Oh yeah, never mind. No, this is not a real person. Never mind. No, this is an actual real person, the author.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
Gotcha.
Sorry.
It's okay.
Yeah. Other than that, no. I haven't been reading much. I've been too busy being an explorer and learning how to use a compass, which is pretty cool. I'm now
Sounds pretty dumb.
pretty safe to not get lost.
Just use your phone.
Well, the whole point is to, you know, if my phone doesn't work or it's dead or if I threw it over a mountain or something, off a mountain,
Just give up.
just give up.
Yeah.
Just sit up.
Just carry a whistle.
No, I got a whistle, but you know, what if I'm like 100 meters off the trail? I can't find it.
Whistle louder. Use string.
String to whistle?
Yeah. No, to you know, if you have to leave the trail, just tie a string, you know, to the trail,
Oh, okay.
and then yeah, there you go.
Then you can't get lost ever.
Right.
That seems like less of a
Brilliant.
No, it doesn't seem like a foolproof thing as much as like learning how to use actual tools.
Well, I mean, whatever.
Nerd. No, it's gonna be good. The next thing I'm gonna learn is maybe like how to like throw an axe. Maybe I'll get an Indiana Jones hat. Maybe my own whip. I'm ready to go.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I'm gonna go.
Nice.
I'm gonna go like jump into some caves and find artifacts and do shit like that. You know, who knows what else is gonna happen? I don't know. Jump off a moving train? Maybe.
Ooh.
That's actually relatively easy.
It's the landing piece that'll get you.
You are guaranteed to land. Also easy.
Yeah? Okay, you're right. It's just the matter of sticking it. Like sticking the landing.
Guaranteed to stick.
No. Like, no, like in gymnastics, you gotta stick the landing. You can't, like, fumble.
Oh no, guaranteed to fumble.
No, that's why I gotta practice and be ready
Well, right, yeah.
to jump. You know, practice my rolls. It's a whole thing. I got a plan.
Okay.
Yeah.
I want to see it happen. How do you arrange that? I guess you just have to find some trains and jump off of them.
Yeah, I think you kind of just hang out by the train tracks until one passes that looks like you could, like, jump on it, and then...
Well, I think usually you huff paint first.
Yeah.
Well,
So like you're a little energized.
I mean, there's other options, not just huffing paint, but yes. You
Sure.
got to do that right at the train tracks, so you're ready to jump
Yeah.
onto it, and then also off.
I don't think that's how it works. I think you get on it while it's still.
Well, I mean, not if you're Indiana Jones. Boom.
Well, sure, but I don't think, you know, if you, like me, want to be a hobo someday who rides the rails, I don't think you're trying to get on any moving trains.
Oh, shoot. Okay. So, you sneak on when it's stopped, and then you huff paint, and then you jump.
Right. No, I think you also sneak off when it's stopped.
That doesn't sound as much fun. But, okay, fine.
But the advantage is you get to do it more than once.
Okay. While you're being the hobo, do you go climb on the top and then, like,
No.
fight bad
No.
guys?
No.
What is the point?
Evading the law. Not getting caught by rail wardens.
Well, okay, fine. I don't like it. I'm not doing it.
Well, I saw on an episode of Criminal Minds that some hobos are serial killers.
Oh, so maybe we'll have a good one for the podcast.
Maybe. I also saw in Criminal Minds that they have their own hobo sign language, these hobo glyphs that they can use to communicate with each other.
Really?
Oh yeah.
I gotta learn that one. Okay.
Yep.
Is it on Google, you think?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if there's like a vocational school that you can go to that'll teach you.
I'm gonna Google hobo signals. Ooh. That's not what I want.
Okay, Google hobo symbols. The hobo code.
Oh, got it. Look at that. There we go. See? Easy. Cat. Kind lady lives here. And that's a cat.
These people are rich.
Ooh. Nothing to be gained here.
Kind woman, tell pitiful story.
Who could remember these codes?
Ooh, free telephone. Is that a chicken?
Alcohol in this town.
Who has a hayloft anymore?
I don't know. Yeah, I suspect the authors of Popular Mechanics made this shit up.
Yeah, this is 2022. Psh, fake. Or they found the code, but it was from like 1940, and they're like, "Yep, no, this is still used."
I mean, skim this article a little bit. This is not real.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Speaking of things that aren't real, though, I have an idea that isn't worth any money, but is very funny,
Hit me.
and that's that we use ChatGPT to make a blog that both generates fake recipes, but also generates fake bullshit blog posts about those recipes. You know what I mean? Like when you Google a recipe for you just Google, can I make a baked potato in the microwave?
Yeah.
And you read this, you have to scroll down a page of someone saying like, ever since I was a young girl, like my mother used to make the best baked potatoes on a hot summer day. Like and you're like, God damn it, where is the recipe?
Yeah. The AI, the ChatGPT makes the recipe intro.
And
Yeah,
the
it
recipe.
makes it.
Okay.
It tells the stupid story that sets the context for the recipe. It then gives you the recipe, and I think maybe we would even have it make a bunch of stupid ads as well.
Yeah.
There needs to be a lot of ads. They need to flash, and they need to be horrifying, like all AI art where the eyes and the hands are fucked up.
Right. But yeah. So in total, it's just it's a terrifying parody of like a lifestyle blog that has recipe posts.
All right, well, let's get on that. We'll put it on the Late Afternoon Gaming website. That'll be a special, secret page that you have to know how to get to, and then it's just filled with these incredible recipes. Or they're poisonous. It's like one or the other. It's either gonna be really great,
Sure.
or it's gonna kill you. We don't know which one's which.
Right, but I just want you to eat like raw beef.
Good luck. Yeah.
Yeah, I want it to be real.
Yeah.
I think it's the closest I'll ever get to modern art. Where it's just, I'm like making a statement about something, but none of us are sure what it is.
No, I think that's spot on. I got a family member that's an artist that does all modern art, and I feel like he would be totally into this shit. You could join the art club, art scene.
There we go. That's it. I'm an artist now.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like next thing you know, Duncan will be over here putting chairs in blocks of concrete, and it's just like squares of concrete with a chair in the middle of it.
Yeah. Next time you see me, I'm going to be wearing a beret and even more irritating than usual.
Perfect. I can't wait. I will not pay to see your modern art.
I want to see your artist getup, though. Because that's kind of important, I think.
Yeah, I haven't figured that out yet.
It definitely sets the stage for all of how everybody sees your art also, so it's a big deal.
I'm going to have to start wearing glasses again.
Get on it. But, with different shades in each lens, and, maybe...
Yeah, they will definitely be tinted lenses.
And each lens is a different prescription.
Yeah.
That you...
A different prescription?
Yeah, that you stole... Well, you didn't steal, but you bought from, a Goodwill.
Jesus.
No, stole.
I'm going to have a terrible headache.
Yes. It's what you do for art, though. It's what you have to do.
Oh, I'm doing this to put myself in a particular headspace?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a little harder than I was hoping to commit.
Well, if you want to be a modern artist, this is what you have to do. Speaking of art, I want to hear about this gaming table, goddammit. I have been thinking about this.
Oh, yeah.
All week.
Yeah. So I destroyed the table. It's done. The table that we were gaming on is no more.
Did you destroy it with a hammer? With a bandsaw?
I took the screws out, so I wouldn't.
I'm gonna backtrack really hard right now on the destroyed aspect and just say I'm not putting it back together.
Like, you gently disassembled it.
I gently disassembled it. Yeah. So, for the people that haven't played on the table that's in my basement, it was basic sawhorses, and then on top of that was a craps table, and that had a foot tall riser to account for like the dice. It's like a rubber pad on the edges, and then there's a medium density fiberboard. Let's say on top of that, and then we were playing games on top of that. The nice thing about it is it was 4 feet by 8 feet, and it had the riser had cubbies around it for people to put things, and that was my favorite thing about it. It was people can put drinks or put their phones there, so they're not out on the table, distracting people.
Yeah, so it wasn't just 4 feet by 8 feet. It was 4 feet of 8 feet where the whole table could be mapped because everybody's bullshit was in the cubbies on the sides.
Yes, it was like kind of like a reverse vaulted gaming table, I guess, to put it that way, which makes literally no sense other than to the people who have seen it. And but
well, no, but I think we can get there. So like if anyone is imagining like a casino poker table where it has like a vinyl bumper around the outside where you can lean on it, that's how a lot of gaming tables are configured now, where there's some elevated racetrack around the outside where that's like where the cup holders will be and stuff like that, and there's a sunken middle, which we always bitch about because people are just gonna spill drinks into the middle of the table where your maps and shit are.
And which I'm paranoid about now for the reason of that I keep spilling drinks for no reason other than I'm just unlucky, I guess.
And drunk.
No other reason.
No reason. Definitely not.
But
something's happened to my coordination.
What could it be?
Who knows? So yeah. Bottom line, I decided, hey, I need a new table for the basement. I need to move a lot of the junk around in the basement, which I've done a lot of. I need to keep doing it so I can have a better, more comfortable gaming space. One of which is making a table that's a better height and possibly a better dimension. And my whole thought process of this was, I'm just going to build a bigger table. Without this huge riser in it, because while the riser was convenient to have space for every single person around the outside, it was also very tall, and the bottom of it was also not tall enough. It was it wasn't made for counter height stools, and then I got a whole bunch of counter height stools. So basically I was like, hey, I'll build a table, and then I was like, well, if I'm building a table, I should add this, that, and the other thing, and of course we want this, and that would be so much cooler than a regular table. And then I was like, I kept thinking about it and thought I should talk to some of the other in-person gamers, think about and get their take on some things, and probably maybe dial it back, or kind of gauge myself on what I wanted to, what I thought was ideal for our in-person session, as well as talk about gaming tables in general, since I think they are pretty popular right now, and but also a generic gaming table might not fit what we need. But so my first instinct was to build a 8 foot long by 5 or 6 foot wide table. So that would give you enough for a 4 foot by 8 foot map with a foot on the sides for players to have things. And my overall kind of mandatory requirement was to have a place for people to put drinks, because, like I said, I'm so paranoid about spilling drinks for an unknown reason. So I think I was building just a huge table with like like those recessed metal cups that you stick your drink into, and it makes it really hard to spill without breaking the actual glass that it's in. But I did want to get your both of your takes on just gaming table stuff in general, and then how we would want to play in the future with, like, in particular, a virtual tabletop, like a horizontally mounted screen. And I kind of leaned away from that, but I think physical stuff is more for what we want to do. But what do you guys think?
I have a lot of thoughts.
Yeah.
First, I really appreciate the big size. I think another thing you want to account for, though, is having room at the end for the dungeon master. So, having a foot of space cut out for them as well is also important. I think with respect to, like, doing virtual tabletop stuff, I think a projector is a better option, because you don't have to do any crazy shit to the underside of the table if you go that route. And if you're using a projector, you can just shift to using virtual miniatures instead of printed ones. And that way, if you put basically a white topper on the table, then it'll project fine, and the DM can just use... you could even use something like Roll20 or Foundry or something like that, and so you would still have an image with a grid that you could snap tokens to and move them around. Players could just point to, like, I want my token to go here, and that would be really cool.
Yeah,
and I think very flexible.
Mm-hmm.
Especially because, it doesn't matter if it's a screen or a projector, but not only could you use something like that to display battle maps, but you could also just put imagery there.
Yeah.
Like artwork, kind of mood stuff. If the players are going to a location, you could show maps. You could show pictures or paintings of what they're looking at, or any number of things like that. If they're going to a store, you could, like, just project a text file with the prices of what's for sale there.
I totally agree with that. I think I think that would be so cool, especially for, like, setting the mood. Especially if it's, like, a really interesting place, a creepy, spooky place. Not to take away from the DM's ability or need to try and verbally set the scene of what's going on, but I think it would certainly help and assist with that. And you could easily do a projector that mounts on the ceiling that projects on the table, or can be twisted to mount on an adjacent wall where you can either use it or not use it, or project a shopping list on the wall when you have kind of minis and houses and scenery on the table itself.
Yes. I think especially if you have the projector oriented such that, if you're thinking you have maybe 3 or 4 players on either side of the table, and then the DM at one end, have the projector aim at a screen on the other end so everyone can see it.
Yeah.
That would be huge.
Yeah, I really like that, and I was wondering earlier, like, how you'd want a surface of the table to be really accepting to projector, and you have a battle map that is, I don't know how long it is, but I measured it before this session. It's 4.5 feet wide. It's 54 inches. So that could, and to your point about having space for the DM, it might have to be, I guess what I was thinking is you have a big rollout sheet and you just clamp it to the ends of the table. And, DM would have to sit on top of that because it's clamped there, and that's just kind of how it is. But,
Sure, and that's fine. But, as long as they have room to put their stuff, especially because, if they are, like, driving this projector, they're going to have to put a laptop somewhere, and
Yeah. Now, we talked about this before. I like the idea of a projector, but any amount of excess tech that a DM now has to kind of apply does have some drawbacks to it, but
Totally. And I mean, we're well into the. I was about to say I don't want to go over the top. We're way over the top already. So I'm just gonna go
keep
full
going.
tilt into this thing.
Yeah.
Nerf and I have talked about this for years, that there are games that basically we wanted to have like a DM and like a DM assistant for.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Where basically you have the proper dungeon master who came up with the adventure and is doing the narration and is adjudicating what is going on at the table, and then you have this sort of assistant or auxiliary DM that the two of them both know what's going on. They're on the same page with respect to kind of what the main beats of the story are, and they've talked through the maps and stuff like that. But this is the guy that does the media. So, yeah, like in a case like this, that's the dude with the laptop, and he is managing what's being projected. So he's putting the map up, he's moving the tokens around, he's moving the monsters around, directed by the DM. He's playing any kind of music or ambient sounds. But he's basically there driving as directed by the DM. And ideally it would be seamless enough that the DM is able to just, as the story's advancing, describe a particular setting, and the auxiliary DM knows, okay, like, all right, I'm gonna throw up the image now of that place, right?
Yeah.
They don't need like explicit orders to do this stuff. So that would, it would have to be two people who know each other pretty well, who, have good chemistry at the table. I think that would be killer.
That would be so fun. Yeah, that would be awesome.
I think so too. And kind of with the over the top thing, I don't know if it's my subconscious, but my gut reaction was, I'm gonna build a 5 foot by 8 foot table and put it down there and we're done. And then my brain was just like, wait, no, it needs to be cooler. It needs to be better. It needs to be more, over the top, I probably want to get there at some point, and maybe I should just do something like that. And I like the projector aspect of it. It's pretty versatile in that respect. But
Yeah.
more so
and
than,
I think. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, a little bit more so. Assuming you can shoot the projector on the wall and you don't have it. We do play with a group that has, we have a 3D printer and a lot of minis and a lot of scenery pieces and a lot of people who build scenery pieces. So, to have an option to still use this type of tabletop scenery, but then also be able to project a scene mood on the wall would be really cool, because I see them all over the place. These people have these just, especially the ones that have motion on them, and I don't know if they're I don't know if they're GIFs or something, but it's really cool stuff that really gets you into it, I think.
Well, there's another function that we haven't talked about here, which is, let's say we have we just have gridded paper down, or like you talked about, we use that vinyl battle map. We have it clamped to the table edges, and we have physical, we have trees and buildings and stuff on the table, and we're using printed miniatures. We could use the projector to do things like when somebody casts a fireball or something to project the fire onto the table.
Oh yeah.
Oh shit.
Oh yeah.
There's you kind of a hybrid or augmentation capability here that we haven't really explored.
Yeah.
So, if and I think the way we could do this is if we key in the projector so that we we know kind of from a pixel standpoint, how many like pixels there are to a 1-inch grid square,
Yeah.
and we size a whatever program we're using to project these images, like we put a dummy grid in there that's so that we know kind of how things are located and how big it's going to show up on the projection.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like we could put that together,
For
and
sure.
that would be super cool.
Yeah, I'm really getting on board with this because, really getting on board.
But I
Or
think,
something like
with
that.
a table this size, projector way more flexible than like bottom-mounted TV.
Yeah, and because one of the things you had said, a while ago was, don't have a little baby TV in there. And I did the measurements, and I could fit a 65-inch TV into the table, but that doesn't have as much flexibility as a projector. But it's very different.
It's also just a much more complicated table building project.
It is,
Yeah.
and that is something that
Yeah,
I
like TV.
personally bring to the issue of, like, I could build a table in 2 weeks that was just like a flat table and legs,
Right.
and then if you want it vaulted, add a month, like, with all the extra stuff that comes with that, it is so much more complicated.
Sure, but I mean, if you want to nest a giant TV in the middle of it,
Oh yeah.
I mean, that is not a trivial thing.
No, it's not. It's a lot more work. It's a lot more planning.
Sure. And I mean, do you build it around a specific TV? Do you make it kind
Yeah.
of, do you make the cavity a little larger so we can swap the TV out at some point? Because we're going to drop the thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
Then we're putting probably an acrylic sheet over the top, which we will scratch.
Yep. Yeah. You get a 1/2-inch acrylic. Now, the cool part about that is that we can all get our China grease pencils out and just mark all over it and then just wipe
Right,
it out.
of course.
So I don't want to convince you that that's what we need, but
So, but you know what happens then, right? Is somebody shows up with their blue China marker and they say like, "Oh, we can use these on here," and then when we go to wipe it off, like it doesn't quite come off.
yeah, you're like, yeah, and then they just don't get invited back because of that.
Right.
Yeah. Right. So.
Well, and somebody's gonna ignore your cubbies for the drinks and set it on top of your TV, and then they're gonna break your TV.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, no, I'm like all aboard the projector train at this point.
Yeah, and the more we talk about it, the more on board I am. I just have to figure out. The drink thing is still like top of my list. I mean, I think the best way to do that is you guys know the circle, the metal kind of things you drop into a circle and you put your drink in that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's what I have to do.
But I think that is on the sides of the table.
Yes, it is on the sides. Yeah.
Right.
Well,
And then
I also have a lot of thoughts that are not high tech and all low tech that would
Tell me.
involve your cup holders or
Tell me.
be involved in it. Okay, so I love the cubbies. I want them to be a little deeper because we set all of our papers there for like the character sheets and all of our notes, and also the trays for the dice rolling. And so
Yeah.
if they fit inside the cubbies, then you can roll there rather than trying to move them up onto the table or onto a side chair. And so having them slightly deeper. The other thing that would be incredibly helpful is maybe one on each side that is a space where you can have the book out and like flip through the rules. Because so I'm imagining when we played our Super DCC game and we had, basically we were using the stools and the cubbies and extra chairs and so if we had a spot where we could put the book, and then the cubbies that were deep enough to put the dice trays, and separately a space for your drink, that would be perfect.
now,
I mean, I would kind of like almost a 2-tiered table. So that there's as much room as possible, like just really open underneath the like top table where the action is happening. There's a lower table where people are actually have all their shit, and I want LED strip lighting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So basically, there's like a waist height table if you're
Yeah.
standing up, and then there's a chest height, like a nipple height table, which is the one that the projection is on.
And
So-
if you have a bit of a gap between where the map is and then the end of the table, that way you could sit like your notebook to take notes or whatever. If you're actually doing a campaign that you need to like take notes on.
Well, I think that's what the waist height table is for.
Well, if you're standing and playing the game, the waist high table is going to be too low for you to take notes.
Fair enough. Okay. Well, but I think if the map doesn't take up the entire top,
Yeah.
if there's a 8-inch strip or something,
Then that's fine. That's fine.
yeah.
Yeah.
Caboose, what were you saying?
So with a new table build, there wouldn't be cubbies, and instead, so if you can remember, the lower edge of the table, like when you pulled up one of these stools to the table, your thighs are slamming into this thing because it's not high enough, and then the
Yeah.
top is just like too high. It's a foot higher than that, so it would be a 36-inch high table. So, like 3 inches higher than the previous base. So 36 inches high, but no cubbies. But it would be 1 to 2 feet wider
Right,
to
right,
account
okay.
for the imagine the cubbies being folded outwards.
So everybody's
Yeah,
shit
yeah, I
is
see
going to
what
be
you're
on
saying.
the
So
table
it's
instead
just a huge table.
It's just it's absurd.
of... Okay,
it would be
can you...
huge.
Can you move? Is there enough space to move around the table? Because if it's going to be that big, you can't reach across it to move your token, so you're going to have to move
Yeah.
around.
If you knew the number of times I've said move some wood in the past, 2 weeks, you wouldn't have asked that question, because for everyone who doesn't know what my basement looks like, there is
A lot of extra wood.
4 stacks of like drying hardwood surrounding this table, and I have been I've been getting mental cramps thinking about where I'm gonna put some of this stuff to alleviate this cramping around the table. But to answer your question, there's one stack in particular, and again, back to the listeners, a stack is 4 feet wide, 9 feet long, and anywhere between 4 and 6 feet tall. So, yeah, back to your question again. Yes, I'm going to move some of I'm going to reverse Jenga this wood around my basement or outside in order to free up the space around the table. But yes, I will do that, yeah.
Okay. Well, I mean, that'll help a lot because we were kind of like banging. You bang your knees up against it as you try to dodge it.
Yeah.
Or maybe just the people who don't have good coordination like me.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, that's fine if it's the cubbies are basically sitting on the outside of the thing.
Yeah, but you both of you bring up an interesting point. There is something I can do. I can actually make a sub table.
Well, so one of the things I like about that is when we're playing and you've got the stuff in the cubbies, right? It's like the dice are not sitting in front of the player, because like one of the things that drives me insane is when the DM is like trying to explain a scene or something, and you've got some player that's just sitting there like rolling their dice in their tray, and you're like, pay attention, what the fuck are you doing? But if the dice are down below, like it's sort of out of the way and they're at the table.
Yeah.
I could go either way on this. I mean, I agree that like the size of this table makes that way less of an issue than it was before. Part of my part of the reason I was thinking about it that way is I almost always stand.
Yeah.
But I know most of the players sit. Like part of that is because I kind of I do a lot of, I guess more and more, like I'm increasingly physical as I act as an NPC, which doesn't really come through on an audio podcast, but I will I will move my hands and my body to kind of express what the NPCs are doing, and that is easier if I'm standing up. But
Yeah.
no, I think this makes sense. And no matter what happens, like it's shaping up to be a really, really cool setup.
Yeah.
I do want to talk about another thing, though,
Yeah.
which is that we have been talking about incorporating black lights.
Yes.
Yes.
And I am very excited at the prospect of there was this game, I can't remember what it was called. It was a board game that my brothers and I had when I was a kid, and it was like this vampire hunting game, and there was this castle with like a lamp on it that would sit in the middle of the board, and it had there were two colors. There was a red light and a blue light, and the tokens and different things on the map were written in red and blue ink, and so you had to play it in the dark, and you would play by the light of this lamp, and when the red light was on, you can only see the blue lines, and when the blue light was on, you can only see the red lines. And I thought that was just like the coolest thing in the world. But I'm really interested at the prospect of doing a pen and paper map, but doing it with inks that will show up under blacklight.
Ooh, yeah.
And integrating that with miniatures that we set up that will also have features that are only visible under blacklight. Where, I don't know, there will be some spell effect in play here where, Caboose, you and I had talked about doing a beholder scenario.
Yeah, maybe, for all the in-person listeners, but yes.
Oh, shit, sorry.
Yeah, but yes, go ahead.
But anyway, if there could be maybe some kind of, maybe like they can put up magical barriers, or they can affect something, and part of the magic, or we can relate that to something that only appears under blacklight and that only comes in. I don't know. I haven't figured it out yet, but
yeah. I wonder if printing with UV reactive resin or UV reactive filament, for the barriers or what.
I don't know that you can do that because that's the way the resin cures to begin with.
Resin is out, but filament might be in.
Right. Yes, that's probably true.
And
but paint at a minimum, painted
yes.
resin is fair game.
100%. Yeah. And some afterglow dice.
It sounds like you
Completely
get a lot of
unnecessary.
work to do.
Yeah. I mean, there's a reason why there's a delay in the next in-person gaming session. But
this is it, Vampire Hunter.
Yeah, I found it.
oh yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's in the chat.
Nice. But yeah, so on the same kind of I was gonna mount I have UV light strips that I was gonna mount to the ceiling. I was also gonna mount just like generic LED light strips to the ceiling as well. But that might not be necessary with a full projector onto the table. The projector would likely override whatever those lights are putting out.
Well,
That's
maybe,
true, but I think different applications.
Yeah, you could use both. So I'd want to
Yeah.
have it set up so that you could use either one.
Yeah, that's true. And one of the other things I thought was, the vaulted tables, I think, I could do 2 rows of lights around that vaulted lip. You could do lights around there, and you could get really kind of direct lighting onto the system. But I do think that vaulted gaming tables are really good for board gaming. I do, but I don't think it's as useful for TTRPGs or wargaming.
Absolutely agree.
Yeah, I do a fair amount of board gaming, but the real serious, I do more like nights of board gaming, but more time wargaming and doing TTRPGs, and I think that we're hitting a happy medium there. I think when you are looking at gaming tables, you have kind of 2 decisions: is do you want it to look like a regular table, or are you committing full force to this is a Dungeons and Dragons or TTRPG table that's
hexagonal or octagonal, and like very clearly has this like, you know, gridded, you know, fighting scene in the middle. I guess it really doesn't matter. It's in the basement, but I think a regular rectangle table is probably a little bit easier on the eyes, I guess. But maybe one day I'll do like a very deliberate like 8, you know, octagonal. There's 8 people can play here, and DM has a super special seat or something like that.
Easy on
Well, and Caboose, you and I have talked about getting a warehouse and installing a rail system overhead
Yeah.
so that we can just move over the board.
Yes.
You know, where we have maybe like a 50 by 100 foot board. That's all, you know, physical miniatures and stuff like that. We can just sort of glide over it and do it that way. What, you know, how
Yeah.
close are we on that?
We are closer than we were. I think I had one thing on my notes that I had to ask you. What millimeter scale are we in for this?
For the warehouse?
Yeah,
idea?
are we in 54 millimeter?
4 millimeter.
4 millimeter. Okay, that changes things because I was thinking we were going bigger, but now you're saying we're going smaller, which makes sense because we can fit an entire enormous continent in this 50 by 100 warehouse at 4 millimeter.
Exactly. Because not only are we flying around like that, but we also have like a jeweler's loop in each eye.
That's perfect because also the benefit of that is the minis. You don't have to be a good painter, so I can paint all this. If you wanted 54 millimeter though, I wouldn't be able to paint them. You know, the detail would be too high.
Mm-hmm.
There's I always say there's nothing like printing 4 millimeter figures on a 4K and on an 8K printer.
You always say that?
I always say it.
It's just an expression. It's a figure of speech.
Because because they're so small, you don't get you don't on a 4 millimeter figure. You probably wouldn't even get 1K detail. So doing it on an 8K printer, which
Obviously.
I do my gateway game, my Monday night game that I'm using to recruit for our game. One of the ways I've been drumming up interest is showing coworkers some of the prints, which people just lose their minds over. Like that most recent batch.
Oh god!
I need to come by and steal one of the sexier beholders.
Yeah. Okay.
Because right now I don't have anything that's painted.
Yeah. Okay.
It makes a big difference.
You know,
the paint looks
whichever
so good.
one you're willing to give up, the bigger the better.
Yeah.
You know, that people would lose their minds.
The one that I painted that I was potentially the happiest I've ever been with a figure that I've painted myself. You should take that because, I finished. I'm working on the one that's significantly larger. So you should take that. I was actually going to ask you this like an hour ago. Like, do you need any? What do you need printed to take to your Monday night group?
Tokens
Well,
of our
I
people.
just finally set up the Discord for it, and actually, while I'm thinking about it, I need to. The way it works for them is I tell them, hey, like whatever your character is, let me know, and either just give me a description or find an STL that you think works.
Yeah.
Or go on like Hero Forge and instead of buying the miniature, just buy the STL.
Yeah.
And then I will print out not just one, but I'll print out a bunch of miniatures if you want them, or in different scales, or when we swap out the resin, I can give it to you in a new color or something. But that way you can have a custom printed miniature of your specific player character.
Yeah.
And so up until now, it's like something I posed to them, but
We've had a few people that have taken it up on the offer, and they've turned out
we
really
have.
good.
but it's only now that we've gotten more organized. So now that the game has gotten bigger,
Yeah.
we finally this week took the time to set up a proper Discord for it, where we're managing the logistics. We're managing when and where we're gonna play and who's gonna bring the food, and we're managing I have a proper schedule, and I'm like actually dumping the maps and the lore in and stuff like that. So I think in the next couple of weeks, now that I have an area where I can like post pictures and stuff like that, people will actually engage me on getting their tokens printed.
Well, and we
that's
bring
good.
over a few of the ones that's like, this is my character that we already have done, and then
Yes.
and then they'll get all jazzed and be like, I want one.
Yep. Yeah, so we're well on the way, but right now, offline, I'll tell you a couple of monsters I need printed, but yeah, it'll be great.
Yeah. I've actually been a little disappointed that you haven't messaged me with an STL or a description saying.
Well, part of the
this.
problem is this group is so lore focused that we do a lot of sessions without fighting anything.
It's true.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Hey, Monday Night Group, if you're listening, I'm still disappointed.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe if you could like 3D print a book or a map,
yeah.
They would
Yeah,
lose
or
it.
like, if I could
they would
3D
lose their
print,
minds.
3D print like a scene.
3D,
Mm-hmm.
3D
Whatever
print a
that
spider.
means. Yeah.
I need the spider to
Okay,
make an
I
appearance.
will 3D print a spider, is spray paint it gold, and get it over to you, and you can put it on your desk at work.
Yes, please.
Yeah, if you could just 3D print an absolute mood.
Oh yeah, I have so many mood STL files ready to go.
Yeah, a vibe, perhaps.
Maybe
yeah.
a few
Oh, you-
conversion tables, of
Yeah.
like, how much does this thing weigh?
Okay, yeah, I can put that. Yeah, you're not ready for my chill vibe STL,
Oh.
or no, or my angry CTB.
Oh, see, I'm worried about that one, but I really want the chill vibe one, so let's go with that one.
You're not. I just said you're not ready.
Okay, I think I'm ready. Hit me. Come on. I really want to
Yeah,
see it.
the sad fact is, as much as they gush over the miniatures, they don't wind up on the table.
It's true. We set them all out. We never used them. Duggan keeps trying to kill us, and we refuse to get into a fight.
So I shit you not, the big challenge this last session was a particularly steep flight of stairs. That's what they spent their whole time like trying to figure out.
No, we did
Yeah.
not. No,
Who's
because
going to go up the stairs? Should we try to go up the stairs at all?
and then this guy saved the day. Rolled the best roll on a levitate and just levitated the whole team up, and we bypassed the entire thing. It was great. I don't see the problem was. I was really expecting Duncan to like have a strong wind push us off the stairs, and that was how he's gonna kill us.
Sometimes stairs are just stairs.
Well, because you've been talking it up about how we're all gonna get killed, like it's gonna get deadly, and so everything is, it's like, is that little 6-year-old gonna be the one that kills us? Maybe it's a demon.
Maybe. Yeah.
I've been mentally preparing for the anguish of losing one of my characters, and it hasn't happened yet, so that just means I'm getting more and more amped, and I'm gonna lose my shit when it happens.
It's true. We've gone long enough that somebody's gonna get their heart broken.
100%. But it's gonna play really well into the story. Like, the character's gonna go nuts.
No, it's a great group though, and it's. Caboose, I need to take a picture of it sometime because it's just
Yeah.
a bunch of spalted dolphin trays all over the place.
Hot.
It's
And
awesome.
the big wagon topper.
Yeah, I had so much fun making that, and not only did I have a good time making it, it was like so rewarding that it like fit perfectly and is getting like maximum use.
It's fantastic. I mean, because I haven't measured this table, but it's probably, I don't know, 2.5 feet by 7 feet, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we have like 6 or 7 players now, and me at the end.
Okay.
So I can afford to take almost no space up on my side of it now, because I have basically a big side table.
And yeah, we have too much food. Duncan can't have any space. The food's in the way.
Right, because it's we play right after work, so people are coming in. And we're basically having dinner at the same time as we play. So it's all, it's a map in the middle, which is that grid easel pad. Mm-hmm. And then everybody has like food. They have a dice tray, and it's DCC, so they have 1,000,000 dice. Character sheets, notebooks. You know how it is.
Nobody takes notes
Yeah.
except for me. So I don't know why they have notebooks. I don't know what the point is.
I don't know either, but some of them do write something down. I don't know what it is.
It's not notes. I don't think that anybody's ever done a recap other than me. But which is fine, because that means I always get the inspiration, which is awesome.
But I've lost, I don't know how many. Like, I bought a dozen of those little reporter spiral bound notebooks, and they're like all gone now.
We didn't lose them. We gave them away.
Well, I mean, I know we didn't
Gifts.
lose them, but these
Gifts.
people who apparently aren't writing anything down, whatever they're not writing down is valuable enough that they feel like they need to take the notebooks home with them.
What if there's an inspiration and they need to take notes? What if I'm gone? No.
If you're gone, they're in trouble. I mean, I do think they all broadly know what's going on because they spend the entire session role-playing, even if it's something stupid.
Yeah.
I'm not worried that they're not paying attention. But if, some factoid, like, comes up and they need to know what somebody said 6 sessions ago, that's probably not going to happen.
Nope. I'll know. Will I share it? I don't know. We'll see.
Probably.
Yeah, totally. I can't keep secrets from the team. Come on. We're a team.
But no, there are plenty of things that need to be printed at some point, but I know that as soon as we print them, they will, I'll give you an example. Like, I'm trying to, Jesse, it was you and me drew this map,
Yes.
spent hours putting this big map together, and then when the party got there, and I described this structure that was obviously fascinating and had some kind of like valuable thing on top of it, they all said, "Oh yeah, we're kind of on a tight schedule, so maybe we'll hit that later," and just drove past it.
We're gonna come back to it. We gotta pass it on the way back.
Sounds like it. Yeah.
Yeah, but this is what's gonna happen if we print some spectacular monster for them to fight.
It'll be 6 weeks before we get to it.
They will just sidestep it,
We're like, those monkeys sound really scary. I don't think we want to go there. But when we do roll that map out, it's gonna be awesome. And everyone is gonna be like, whoa, clearly this is the side that Jesse drew. Much better than Duncan.
We should have gone to this place a year ago.
Yeah, right? So cool. What were we thinking? It looks a little bit like, I don't know how you described it, one of those completely different art styles drawing the same thing, and so it looks really hard on the eyes, actually.
Yeah, it's we cut the map down the middle and each worked on one side.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah.
That's fun.
Our approaches to drawing grass, very different.
Well, mine was a very specific type of grass.
Yeah, of course.
Kentucky bluegrass.
Plus, I'm an artist.
Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah. The modern artist.
Right.
It doesn't necessarily translate to pencil art. Though maybe that should be your jam since you have enough pencils.
I do
Although-
have the world's largest, finest sharpened pencil collection.
It is quite nice.
But if anyone is a really good pen artist, let me know. I need some pen art, monsters and maps and pen art.
Oh, for
Not-
DCC.
Yeah, let me know because it's a high demand field these days.
I think you just hit it with Dali.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if Goodman Games would accept that.
Well, did you? There's an article I didn't post in Table Talk Materials, something along the lines of there was some D&D book that they discovered actually contained
Oh yeah.
AI generated art. There was some scandal.
I mean, I didn't see that. No, but that's big deal. I bet. I guess my take on Wizards of the Coast is that they do care a lot about like.
Appearing to support artists.
Yes, yeah. In particular, from the Magic the Gathering aspect. Yeah. So for at least the table for the in-person gamers, I got about 6 foot by 8 foot, and I can do a lower table below, like kind of in between the legs, and I can put drink like receptacles. I wanted to do Zarfs, but we'll just say we'll do drink Zarfs around the sub table.
Yeah.
So you do have to reach under the table to get your drink, but they will be Zarfed.
So I don't even remember. I mean, Zarfs are made of plastisoled aluminum.
That like hook into
is that right?
Zarf. Yeah, they hook into like Zarf clips, but.
So,
I guess technically.
Do you want to explain to the listeners what a Zarf is?
Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about.
So for the alphas and the chads out there, and the sigmas, a Zarf technically is a.
Well, no.
Like,
The alphas, the chads, and the sigmas know what Zarfs are.
yeah. Okay. Sorry.
It's
You're
the betas
right.
and the omegas that don't know.
Yeah,
Oh,
and
I
the
see. Okay.
and the Charlies out there. A Zarf is technically a kind of like a vessel that holds a cup that's holding a liquid as a cup or whatever would.
It's a specific brand of cup holder that's found on some ships.
Yeah, and it is just a common term for the alphas of to put a cup in a place where cups. It's like a cup holder, but you're not in a car.
Wait, hold on. Why is this an alpha term?
Because
Well,
it's likely that only alphas would have encountered these.
A cup holder? They're the only people.
It's no. It's a specific type of cup holder
Yeah.
only found in specific places in the maritime world.
Yeah, and you can move Zarfs around. Like you can put Zarfs in different places.
Yeah. Well, and Zarf is also a verb.
Yeah, it is
like-
very true.
It's like a
It's
Cup
like
holder is
cruise
not. Cup holder is not a verb.
It's like holster.
Yeah,
Like, could you Zarf this mug for me?
yeah.
Okay.
And that means to put the mug in a Zarf.
Does it make complete sense? No.
Sure. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
believe you. Thank you.
My heart would be full of joy if there were Zarfs on this table.
So I looked. I've been looking because my design 1 alpha. It was like it's just a generic tabletop like I described, but along the apron, which is the the side, the board connecting the legs, just below the tabletop, it had like those. It had Zarf. It had Zarfs because then I could take the Zarfs out if no one was using
Okay.
a Zarf, and
Because all you have to do is, like, put a vertical bracket in.
and then put a Zarf on there, right?
Right.
But I had a hard time finding Zarfs. So
Does
I've
that,
got to think they're not hard to fabricate, though.
the Zarfs I found were super dumb and not the ones I wanted. And so no, I don't think they're hard to fabricate for like someone other than me, like someone familiar with metalworking.
Sure, because I think it's like, what? It's like 2 rings connected by a band that you
Yeah.
would bend.
Yeah, it's not crazy, but Design 1A was a generic table, 6 foot by 8 foot or so, with a bunch of Zarfs around the apron, and that way you could just kind of, if there weren't any, you didn't have to have the Zarfs there, but you had a place for your drinks, which was my only requirement for a table. And so, but I couldn't find a good Zarf supplier. I don't have a good Zarf guy, and I kind of I started doubting myself as a human. And
Well,
a-
maybe
a
you should
good
be doubting
person,
yourself
so,
as an alpha.
hopefully I can
You
fix
can't
that.
fight Zarfs.
Well, checkmate, because we're not alphas, we're sigmas.
But I don't know what that means, but okay.
Facts.
I mean, but if you actually do need a metal person, I got you. I can do this. I got a hookup. I'm not even joking.
All right, but you better deliver now.
Sure.
We're gonna send you some photos.
I need some specs. What kind of metal do you need? How big? How many?
Zircaloy.
Okay, I don't have Zircaloy. I can't do that. But, no, I've got... And actually, if you give this to me in the next couple days, I can have it made and have it when my person comes out here. Like, in a week and a half. Boom.
I'll think about it.
What? You're gonna
yeah,
think
I'll
about
think
it?
about it.
I
Yeah.
just gave you a solution. I just fixed your problem. Now you can be an alpha or a whatever.
Sigma.
Yeah,
What's the difference?
everything.
Look it up.
No. Okay, fine. Well, I don't know. I'll look it up.
It's characteristic of Sigmas for us to not want to do your work for you.
Oh, okay.
All right. Well, either way, I have a very good idea of a good table that would work for us as a group, which was really what I was, itching for, which I'm very satisfied with.
All right. Well, I mean,
I'm pumped. I mean,
Yeah,
as if it wasn't good enough before. Like,
it can only
we
get
got
better.
some fun stuff coming up.
Oh yeah. I felt sad, that was like that table. While I didn't design it for TTRPGs, the whole company situation. I was like, oh my god, this is everything I needed. Such a good solution and a good size, 4 feet by 8 feet. You really need so much room. I see all these like professional D&D tables with like that are enormous, like astronomical. And so I think this will be good too. I think we'll get there.
Yeah, man. I'm pumped.
Yeah. Yeah. And I've also slowly been printing things through the weeks and doing some stuff. So I'm getting ready for some stuff. Not to be disclosed to people who are not privileged, but I am. Yeah. I'll tell you right when we're done recording this, and
okay. So you're saying a Sigma is a lone wolf and an alpha is a dude, bro?
Not exactly.
I'm not saying that.
Okay, but that's what the internet says.
The internet's for suckers.
Yeah, Sigmas don't use the internet.
Oh. Okay. All right. Got it. I'm tracking now. I did have this guy walk into a house party one time and be like, where are the alphas at? I gotta find my people. And I just barfed into my cup.
How many people did he have sex with that night?
Give it to me in dozens.
0?
I don't believe you.
Oh, okay. Sure.
See, every time we have these conversations now, I think of that video with the kid going, I am the alpha male.
No, they'd probably be friends.
I don't know. It's hard for Sigmas to make friends. We're too independent.
Well, this guy clearly wasn't a Sigma. He was an alpha.
Jesse, I don't have time to explain this to you.
Okay, sure.
Go read some Jordan Peterson books, and then you'll understand.
I don't think I want anything to do with this. I'm good. I'll just continue to live in blissful ignorance. And you'll just tell me what it's supposed to be. And then correct me when I'm wrong. It's fine.
There you go.
Yeah, why do I need to know the difference?
That's a good system.
Yeah. I'm happy with it.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah, and don't
And with that,
I like it.
nope.
Nope.
That's it. With
That's it.
we
Done.
conclude this table talk.
Yeah. Make sure you listen to the last two downtime episodes. They are absolutely fantastic.
We rolled a lot of ones.
And
If you-
please, download every episode of Late Afternoon Gaming on
Yep.
every device you can.
Yep. And if you have any thoughts about gaming tables, please email us or comment on a YouTube video or
Instagram.
on the subreddit or the Instagram. Please, Instagram. And
Rate
on
us,
the-
rate us 5 stars on Apple Podcasts,
Yep.
please.
And on the last Table Talk, Shepard briefly talked about a future giveaway that is still in the future, but it's been confirmed. All the details are worked out, and they will be presented to everybody shortly in the future.
Sometime. Great.
Yeah, and if we have any like attractive female listeners, I'm interested in abusing my power as dungeon master to maybe have a sex scandal at some point.
Sex scandals are good.
Yeah, so just wanted to throw that out there. Thought it'd be good for us.
I mean, any publicity is good publicity.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
That's
fine.
what I've heard.
Yeah.
All right, we're done. We're out.
Done.
Later.